Hey y'all, it's me Marty. Welcome to another video. I know I'm weird. Oh my goodness. That's 2 videos in a row where I danced. Sorry about that. I don't dance, as you can tell. Anywho, quick little video here just to talk about and show you my, I don't know what I'm going to call it yet, my everyday pocket survival kit, on body survival, something like that. We'll see. Well, you already know if you've seen the title, but anywho, just want to show you my pocket dump basically. And I know I've done this before, and it changes now and then, but I just want to show you the basics that I have in my pockets and on my body all the time, and how it can be a survival emergency kit. You know, it doesn't have everything, and it's not all the stuff. And again, you should always be prepared and have, you know, if you go on a hike or an adventure or whatever, you should have some kind of survival kit with you. You should have a backpack, canteen water, all the different essentials that you should have. But you know, you can have stuff on you all the time, so you at least have the basics. So I'm just going to do a quick pocket dump here. This is going to be a short video. Just show you what I have on me all the time. Okay, and why. Okay, so basically, I have clothes on me. And actually, that's the first layer of protection as far as shelter kind of thing, I guess, you know. I mean, I have a shirt, I have pants, I have socks, and normally I have shoes. Sometimes I'll have a hat on, you know, and that's just, you know, part of my wardrobe or whatever. And again, if I'm going to go for a hike, if I'm going to go somewhere, I'm going to have a backpack. I always have a backpack on me, or some kind of survival kit, sometimes both. But on an everyday basis, wherever I go, whether I'm driving my truck or I'm in my shop woodworking or I'm doing something with my wife or others or just out and about, wherever I am in life, doing anything, I always have, pretty much always have these items in my pockets on my body. No matter what. And it changes from time to time, but for the most part, I always have these on me. And sometimes I have more, but I at least have these. So, okay, let's start with my left rear pocket. In this pocket, I have my wallet, okay? And basically, my wallet has my driver's license in it, my debit card, other cards, I have my DOT card, I have my fishing license, you know, other little things in there. And I also actually have sometimes I'll have a little cash. And I also have something I got at Rockler Woodworking, I don't know, a couple months ago. And it's basically a credit card size tape measure. And I think it's stainless steel. Yeah, it's only 3.5 inch, you know, by 2 inches, you know, but it's a little tape if you're measuring, you know, small things. And it has a lot of details on the back as far as different fractions and decimals and metric and inches and all that stuff. But kind of neat. It's like indestructible. You could use it for different things to measure little things, but that's just a little pocket little tool I have in there. And yeah, that's basically what's in there. And this is just a tack gear I got at a truck stop, and I like it because it snaps closed, and it's got some different pockets, and it's pretty slim. Years ago, I used to have like a trifold wallet. I don't like that. They're just big and bulky, and you get a big, huge thing in your back pocket. This is pretty slim, and I've had slimmer ones, but I've realized I like to have a few more things in my wallet, so that's the one I have. Yeah, that's in my left back pocket. Okay, then in my left front pocket, I have a multi-tool, and sometimes I'll put this in a pouch on my belt, but I actually like it in my pocket more with a clip. And again, I'm pretty thrifty. I don't get expensive stuff for the most part, but there's a lot of great deals out there, y'all. This is a Cabela's multi-tool, and I don't remember, it was like 20 bucks or something, but you can spend $100, $150 for a multi-tool, and I don't understand why. But this is very well made, very heavy duty. It has a needle nose pliers and a cutter on it, which is probably the most important part of a multi-tool compared to just a knife. But then it also has a pretty good knife, and it locks. It's a pretty nice knife, or an extra one. I also have another knife on me. And it has a bottle opener, and a can opener, and a file, and a fish scaler. And then it has a flathead screwdriver. And then it has a Phillips screwdriver. Now, these are small, but they're better than nothing, you know, and you could use them for different things. Then I have an awl, and then I have this ring thing, which I don't know. I guess you could use for different things. I'm not really sure what that's for. If anybody knows, put it in the comments. But yeah, there's that. And it has a saw, which I think is really good. Yes, it's a small saw, but in a pinch, you know, I have a saw and a knife on me all the time. In a pinch, I could process wood for a fire or for shelter. I know it's a small saw and a small knife, but it's better than nothing, and it could help you survive. So yeah, it just has a lot of good things on there. I like having a multi-tool on me for different reasons. It has a lot of different things. Then, still in my left front pocket, I have my keys, and it's a paracord fob I made. These are really actually kind of fun to make and easy. And yeah, it's small, but it's some extra paracord. I mean, it's a key fob. It's just nice to have anyway, but I think there's probably 10, 15 feet on there of extra paracord, you know. And I have my truck key on here. This is extra Freightliner key for my truck. And years ago, I know most of you have heard the story, but years ago I was delivering somewhere. It was the middle of winter. I was in a t-shirt and shorts, my PJs, because I was sleeping. I was unloading, and once I got unloaded, I had to get out of my truck. Well, I had to pull my truck ahead from the dock once I was empty, then get out of my truck, close the doors, get back in then go get the paperwork, get back in my truck, and then go park somewhere for the night or whatever. And I got out of the truck to go close my trailer doors, and the door closed, and it was locked. And it was like 10 degrees out and snowing. And I was in a shorts and t-shirt, and I was locked out of the truck. I was able to get in. The people there at the place, they were able to jimmy the window, the lock, and got in. But ever since then, I asked my boss, whatever truck I have, I asked for a spare key. I always keep one in the ignition because the truck's almost always running. But whenever I get out of the truck, a lot of times I'll lock it if I'm going in somewhere or whatever. But this is always in my pocket just in case. And actually, I think I have an extra in the engine and maybe the battery compartment too, but can't always get to them, you know, on different things. But I always have one in my pocket. And then I have my vehicle key, which is my Jeep that I have now, and a house key and a padlock key for a padlock I put on my trailer sometimes. And then I have a tiny little flashlight. I know it's small, but it's a flashlight. It's a little Cabela's one. It was like $4. I mean, seriously. Sometimes I'll have other things. I don't like having a big set of keys or key fob and that. Sometimes I'll have other things on here, you know, and I've had a fingernail clipper on here and a little capsule, waterproof capsule thing with waterproof matches and a fishing kit, different things like that. I've had a whistle on here. I've had different things on here, but I don't like to have too much. But that's my key fob in my left front pocket, my keys. Okay, that's it for that pocket. Now I'm on to my right. Let's go to my right rear pocket. In here, I have three things. I have a bandana, you know, which has a million uses. And actually, I've done a video of 100 uses for a bandana, if you want to watch that for entertainment purposes. But really, there's lots of great uses for a bandana. Wipe your nose, wipe sweat, wipe your butt. A sling, pre-filtering water, a do-rag, a headband, a neck thing, all kinds of uses for a bandana. And I have multiple ones in my backpack. There's my day pack there. I always have other ones in there too, but why not have one on you? So yeah, have a bandana. Then I have a notepad, and I just put camo duct tape on it because I like that, which there's extra duct tape, which could be, I could peel this off and use it to repair things. Could be a good tinder for fire starting. And I just have, it's just nice to have a real notebook. I mean, yes, I have notes on my phone, you know, and all that, but it's nice to have a real notebook, or if you want to give somebody a note or whatever, I don't know. So I have different things in here, you know, I'll just write different things down and stuff, whether I'm going for a hike, or I have some truck information in here too, and different things, or, you know, but it's just nice to have a notepad, a real notepad. Okay, and if you have a notepad, you gotta have a pen. Okay, so this is a tactical pen, and I've had a few of these before, and a couple of them broke and stuff, and this one's pretty good. It's still a little big. I had a smaller one I liked better, but there's different ones, and it's more tools and survival stuff to have on you. So first of all, it's a pen with a notepad, so that's good. It's also it's a 6-inch tape measure. What would you do with these short little tape measures? A lot of times I'll I'm a woodworker, so I'll keep a tape measure on my belt. When I used to work in wood shops years ago, I always had a tape measure on my belt. And sometimes I will still have one on just for fun. It's good to have. And this also is a bottle opener, and it also has a bubble level on there, and it's also a flashlight on the end. And yeah, so different things on there. I've had ones that come apart and there's screwdrivers and stuff, and don't really need them. I have a multi-tool, so I'd rather have one that has a good flashlight and a pen. So that's my right rear, and we're not talking about rears here. Anyway, okay, then I have a pocket knife. This is the one I have right now. Nothing fancy. I think this is $8. I just like to have a pocket knife on me for carving, for whittling, for cutting things. Yeah, I guess you could say self-defense, but I'm not gonna stab anybody, get in a knife fight with a bear. No, that's just so. But it's good to have a pocket knife. This one actually has some paracord on it too. I think it's about 6 feet of paracord, and has a little thing on the end. So, but yeah, just nice to have a pocket knife. So I actually have 2 knives on me, just to use for different things. So yeah, pocket knife. Then down in my pocket, I have 3 more things. I'm not done. A little hank of paracord. And this is 6 feet, and this is basically for 3 uses, I think. One, just if you ever need some paracord. Also, I like to practice my knots, so it's nice to have a little bit here. I'll sit in my front seat and I use my steering wheel to tie knots on this, pretend it's a tree or whatever, and just practice my knots that I like for bushcraft and different things. So it's just nice to have that. Also, what did I say? If you need paracord, practicing, there was another reason to have paracord. Oh, so a lot of times I've showed you before, I'll have my backpack on me and I'm going for a hike. I'm going to put my pack down and set up a camp or hang out, take a break or whatever. I like to hang it on a tree. My favorite way, I know you can use bungees, ratchet straps, hooks, different things, but the way I like to use is just wrap paracord around the tree. I think it's what knot is that? Not a lark's head. It's you know what one I mean. I'll put it right here. That one knot. You just wrap it around yourself, and then you put a toggle in there, and the toggle, you can hang your backpack on it. It's kind of cool. So this is a perfect length for going around a tree. What is that knot? Yeah, it's, anyway, I can't think of it. I know I put it right here, but I think it, Marlin spike, yes. Okay, anyway, but yeah, I just like to have a little bit of paracord. So between that paracord and a little bit on my knife and my keys, probably do a shelter or tie up things or whatever. Again, if I'm on a hike, I'm going to have my backpack and all the different things, all the things I would need for survival and emergency and just hiking, camping, bushcraft. Well, this is just stuff on me, but yeah, there's some paracord just, to have. Okay, then I have 2 more things. I have a ferro rod and a lighter. Why do I have them both? Well, here's the thing. Here's my thought on it. There's 2 things. There's many things that are essential, the 10 essentials of survival and hiking and all that. They're all important, but to me, the 2 most important ones are water and the ability to start a fire. Yes, shelter and food and all that other stuff is important too, but you got to have water and be able to make fire. So in emergency situation and survival, just use a lighter. I have a lighter in my pocket that I never use, so it's always full and ready to use. It's just a mini Bic. You're not going to sit and practice, use a ferro rod or make a bow drill or hand drill or flint and steel. You're not going to do that in a survival emergency situation. Just get the fire going. Okay, so just use a lighter. When you want it quick and you need it quick, just start a fire. And I also have probably about 8 feet of Gorilla Tape on here, which is, again, to repair things, for tinder, and it just, I have that on the lighter. So yeah. And then I also have a ferro rod, because ferro rod is my favorite way to start a fire. If you're not in a hurry, if it's not an emergency situation or survival, yeah, start a fire in my truck. Anyway, I've never used this one before, so you got to get the black out before you start. Pretty decent one. I have a few of them, and some are little cheap ones, some are better ones, but ferro rod. I love starting a fire with a ferro rod. And my thing is, I like to really prepare the fire. A little bird's nest or whatever, and your tinder, and then your kindling, and then you have split wood, and you have it all ready. And then I think that's really important, to prepare your fire first before you try to start it. And then I try to do it on one spark, because sometimes I get it on one spark, but yeah, it's kind of fun to do. So yeah, ferro rod, that's my favorite way to start a fire. But again, in survival emergency, just use the lighter. But it's nice to have both, because really, think about it, you could probably start 100 fires or more with a lighter, probably a few hundred with a ferro rod. So there's no reason to not carry these. I like to always have them, because you never know what would happen. It's some kind of emergency survival situation, with an accident or being lost or just getting hurt. I have these on me. I can start a fire. I'm almost guaranteed to start multiple fires if needed. And again, I have other things in my pack if I have that with me, but I have multiple ways. This also has a little compass on it. Yeah, it's just a cheap little bubble one, but it's better than nothing. I would always have a real compass in my backpack, and probably should have one on me. And I'm going to talk about other things you can have on you, but this also has a whistle, so yeah, that's everything I have on me. Okay, well, not everything, but I also have a paracord bracelet. There's another, I think 20 feet on there. Looks cool. Emergency, I could take it apart and have more paracord. I have enough paracord on me to build a shelter if needed. And I have my watch, the time. And this one, I have another one that it does like the temperature, and it's compass. This is a regular one, but good to have. And again, I always have my phone on me. It's making the video right now. It's my camera. But I always have my phone in my pocket if I'm going somewhere. So that's always in my pocket too. And your phone is communication, and you can call for help, and you can take pictures, make videos to share your adventures, and GPS, and you can take notes on it. You can call. There's so much you can use a phone for. It's a computer basically. So yeah, if you have a phone, yeah, if you want to rough it and go on an adventure without just have the basic stuff, but take your phone. Why not? It's in an emergency, you would need it, and it's good to have. And just always be prepared, yeah. So a few things that sometimes I have in my pockets, not always. Now these things are always in my pocket. I don't think I ever don't carry all of these. I think they're always in my pocket. Sometimes, so I'm wearing cargo pants, which have extra pockets. Sometimes I'll put I have a little first aid kit. I don't know, oh, it's up there. I have a tiny little first aid kit. And it has Band-Aids and ibuprofen, Tylenol, Benadryl kind of stuff in it. Just a tiny first aid kit. Sometimes I'll have that in my pocket. I should always if I have my cargo pants. But I've even had a tourniquet in my pocket. In these cargo pants, the bigger pockets, I could put a emergency blanket, a small tarp, more paracord. I could put a bigger, well, the other thing is, I could put a saw in one of those pockets, a bigger saw. And sometimes I'll put my bushcraft knife or one of my knives on my belt, so, I can put a canteen on my belt. Again, I can have my backpack and all that, and usually I have that for a hike or an adventure. But these are just other things you can put in your pockets. So you can put a lot more in your pockets, so, yeah. So, boy, sometimes I just ramble. I always ramble, but I know some of you like it. Anywho, that's about it. I just wanted to show you my little pocket dump, my EDC on-body survival. Yeah, we'll see what we call it. But just things that are always on me. I like to be prepared always. That stuff is just always on me. And then I like to have a survival kit if I'm going to go on an adventure, and my backpack. So, just always be prepared. And, I know you don't want a lot of bulky things in your pockets, but none of this is, I've gotten used to it. None of it's heavy. It just, it just feels good to have and be prepared. So anyway, If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you like my channel, subscribe and click the bell, and you know, share. Please comment and all that stuff. And yeah, be prepared, and just yeah, make the most of every day, cherish every day, live life fully. And yeah, I just pray you're all doing well. And thanks so much for watching. We'll see you on the next video.